Hey guys, Duckshots here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about and reviewing the Battlefield 1 Scout class. Now, the first question is, did the snipers get a nerf? Now, in my opinion, I believe they did get a nerf based on my gameplay with them over the last few days. Now, that being said, the nerf is not very big if it did get nerfed. That being said, I did experience a lot of bullet velocity reduced in the game, such as me shooting at an ongoing target that's moving across the map or a stationary target that's just sitting there. Now, I've experienced that quite a bit in my opinion because I didn't notice it in the beta. If you guys happen to play the beta, it was so easy to snipe. It was very, very easy in my opinion because in previous Battlefields, it was a lot harder because the way you had to aim and the way you had to aim up across the map on a stationary target or even a moving target, it was significantly just absolutely insane. Like, it was really hard. I mean, I'm not saying it was impossible because I was really good at it, but that being said, it was just so much more different than this game. It's like they ended up, the snipers made them so much more useful than they used to be. So that's a big topic that needs to be talked about in as far as DICE and the community, because snipers are very important to the game because people like to snipe. I understand that, but it needs to be more implemented in a way to where it's fair. Okay, now, how many players will switch to different classes because of the nerf? I think nerfs are important as far as being a helpful tool to all the other classes. Now, that being said, not all classes are going to be played, in my opinion, because a lot of other people stick to one class. Myself, I wouldn't say I do that. I do run the medic class almost every match. Now, I do occasionally switch it up, but I don't usually do it because I'm a big medic guy. I like being able to revive my teammates and stuff like that. So, sniping nerfs are any type of nerfs, really. It doesn't really matter what class it is. It makes people be able to use other classes, instead of just one class all the time. Because they'll notice that the snipers are not as good as they used to be because of the nerf. Now, that being said, it's very important that it needs to be implemented in a way to where it's not unusable. It can't be unusable because it's not going to make the game fun. Because sniping is, like I said, sniping is such a big thing. Medic is such a big thing. Support's such a big thing. And now assault's such a big thing. Replacing engineering. Because it's more important to players nowadays that guns are just not underpowered, But I do think players should use every class available in the game because it gives you a new experience. It gives you new ways to play the game instead of playing the old same way you always do. But that's strictly your choice, but I'm just giving you some tips here to understand what the situation is. Now, does the nerf, this is my question, does the nerf provide weapon balance? Weapon balance is a huge thing in Battlefield. It is huge. Any game really, but it's particularly big in Battlefield because there's so many guns in the beta that I noticed were very overpowered. They needed to be nerfed. I'm not particularly talking about the scout class. Maybe it needed to be tweaked here and there. But balancing in the game as far as the guns needs to be perfect. Almost perfect, because it draws a lot of attention to it from any player really, because you say you shoot this guy first or you get shot across the map by a shotgun. Weapon balance matters, okay? Just like tank balance or anything like that, biplanes, bombers, or anything like that. But weapon balance is very important. I do think that the nerf does provide weapon balance, obviously, because nerfing a gun or even buffing a gun makes it, a level playing field for every player that comes to Battlefield. Now, let's talk about the gadgets. The variety of gadgets available with the Scout class is really nice, with so many different choices to choose from, with decoy helmets, deployable snipe shields, with the flare gun. I'm particularly talking about the Scout class. because the Scout class has so many choices now. I wouldn't say it's an overwhelming choice. Like Battlefield 4, they had so many gadgets, it was just pointless. In this game, it's it's a level playing field. There's so many gadgets during World War One that was available. It's implemented in the game to where it's very nice. Now I'm going to be talking about these three gadgets that caught my eye in the EA Access play. The decoy helmets. The decoy helmets are absolutely cool. I really like those a lot because they provide some sort of skill as far as where you set them. I mean, you can't just set one in the middle of a road and expect somebody to be like, oh, that's a guy. No, it's not an enemy. It's just a decoy, because they're going to figure that out. You have to set it on certain points on the map, maybe on a ridge or above a little small hill or behind a building, head glitching, whatever you want to call it. But decoy helmets were cool. I really, really enjoyed those. I did use them a few times. They didn't really work very well for me because it just, it's so obvious. Now, at longer ranges, it's not as obvious because you can't really see what you can see, because you can't really tell what it is. Because now you can see the spot. You can spot it, and you might think it's a sniper, but it's really not. But that's really how the decoys work. The deployable snipe shield. I did not get to use this in the EA Access trial. I might have my opportunity coming up. I hope so. The sniper shield was a fantastic idea. Whoever implemented this in World War One, bravo. You did fantastic, because that was cool. Now, obviously, you're not invincible with it because you have to have a little hole to shoot out of, and anybody could easily shoot you through that hole and kill you. The shield, I really enjoyed that. That's what the shield is for. It's to be able to protect you on a 45-degree angle, not a whole 360. It's perfect. Now let's talk about the flare guns. The flare guns is most commonly used in Battlefield 1 as far as the Scout class. I use it myself because it's very useful for spotting enemies. It's very useful for spotting vehicles. Any type of movement on the enemy team is going to be spotted. Not only that, I love shooting a flare gun inside of a building, just burning somebody alive or just burning them out of there or blinding them, because the flare gun has two types of flares, the flash flare and just the regular flare, to spot enemies. Now, honestly, I would definitely recommend this in your Scout class because it's one of the most important key elements as far as spotting, because there's really no more 3D spotting. I mean, you might see it a little bit in Battlefield, because I think it's a bug in my opinion, because you can see a 3D spot through a building, okay, but you can't really see the guy. I've seen so many of those bugs, obviously, in the beta and the alpha, and now the pre-release of Battlefield. So that's really all I got today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, this is Duck Shots signing off.